Islamic cultures have the highest rates of homosexuality in the world, thanks to the misogyny, polygamy, gender trauma, and overall dysfunction that exists in Islamic cultures. This is despite the fact that officially Islam claims to be anti-homosexuality. It doesn't matter if a religion is officially against homosexuality when the religion itself promotes the warped beliefs and dysfunctional gender dynamics that directly cause homosexuality, such as misogyny and polygamy.
بالإضافة لذلك في دراسة في مكتب الإشراف الاجتماعي هذه الدراسة برضو خطيرة جدا تقول هذه الدراسة إنه نسبة 46% من الطلبة في مدينة الرياض يعانون من الشذوذ الجنسي 25% من الطلبة في مدينة جدة يعانون من الشذوذ الجنسي.
طب هذا يعني شيء جديد في السعودية أن تنشر عبر الصحف مقالات، هناك مقالات كتبت عن الموضوع. الدراسات التي ذكرتها ما تعتبرين شيء جديد في السعودية؟
The more misogynistic a religion is, the higher the rates of both male and female homosexuality. Toxic religions will always cause homosexuality as a direct result of the traumatized, dysfunctional societies and families that are created by their warped worldviews. If a religion promotes hatred and imbalance between the sexes, this dysfunctional dynamic will automatically lead to homosexuality, even if the religion states that it is against homosexuality. Islam, of course, is a perfect example of this. If a religion says it is against homosexuality while at the same time teaching boys and men that women are inferior, this worldview itself is what is automatically grooming boys to become homosexuals who hate women. The staggeringly high rates of homosexuality in the Islamic world are absolute proof that people are not born homosexual.
Islamic hatred of women has led to rampant homosexuality. You talk to MPs that have served any time over in the Mideast, anywhere in any Islamic country or culture, be it Arab or African or further east, they say the same thing. Number one challenge in setting up detention camps is keeping those guys off of each other. Absolutely. They are all over each other. Homosexuality is rampant in the Muslim culture. And we'll talk about later why nobody discusses this. They all hate women and they all love men. So it goes on all the time. Infertility in Afghanistan. This is an anecdote. And this is you can easily Google this and find this on the internet. Over in Afghanistan, we've got the military over there. We have a lot of military physicians over there. They're helping the people of Afghanistan, doing a lot of treatment and so forth. And of course, when the Afghanis get sick, who do they want to see? They want to come see the American doctors, right? Well, not long after we get in over there, in a certain camp, you start getting a bunch of men bringing their wives in, complaining, our wives aren't getting pregnant. Our wives aren't getting pregnant. See what's wrong with her. There's something wrong with her. See what's wrong with her. So the doctors are actually quite interested in this because a lack of fertility can be indicative of biological or chemical warfare. So if they're hearing reports of mass infertility, these military doctors, they want to investigate this because this could be a very big deal. So they're running all kinds of tests and doing this, that, and the other, and they can't find a thing. These women all appear normal to them. Finally, they start asking some intimate questions. They get some female doctors in there, and they sit down these wives, and they say, okay, we want you to tell us about when you have sex. What exactly do you do? Do you know why these women weren't getting pregnant? Because they were all having anal sex. The husbands had no idea how to even have sex with their wives. Why were the men having anal sex with their wives? Because they had been anally raped themselves as children. They had no idea. So the male doctors take these Afghani men aside and say, look guys, you're not doing it right. And they explain it to them. The Afghani men are absolutely repulsed, are just shocked, cannot believe what these American doctors are telling them, and are asking the American doctors back, you do that with your wives? That's filthy. That's filthy. These men are trained, A, to hate their wives to the point that having sex with them is only what they do in order to generate sons. That's the only reason that men want to have sex with women in Islamic cultures. That has been inculcated into them. And in some of these cultures, in this case it was a Pashtun culture in Afghanistan, the sexual perversion is so deep that men literally don't even know what to do with their wives. Why won't mainstream culture, why won't the left, why won't the liberals call out Muslim sexual perversion? Why do most people have no idea that most Muslim men engage in homosexual sex? Why do we have no idea that most men in Islamic cultures engage in pedophilia? That there's this massive problem. Why won't the left talk about this? It's very simple. If you look at Afghanistan and you have a culture wherein well in excess of 50% of the men are engaging in either man-man or man-boy sex, what does that tell you about sexual orientation? It's psychological. It's psychologically conditioned. It is inculcated. What does the homosexual lobby in this country want you to believe? That it's genetic. I was born this way. It's in my DNA. If you look at the Islamic world is proof, it's objective proof staring you in the face that not only is sexual orientation not genetic, it is a cultural phenomenon. You have pockets, like I said, in Afghanistan, where in the male population, it's far, far in excess of 50% and next to zero in the female population. It is a psychologically conditioned orientation. And the homosexual leftist lobby in this country doesn't want you to know that. Their entire platform is hanging on it being genetic. It is not genetic. It's not, I was made that way. It is a psychological condition.
The fact that the Islamic world has the highest rates of homosexuality on earth proves without a shadow of a doubt that homosexuality is a psychological condition influenced by culture. Homosexuality is a mental condition. It is something that happens to a person. Homosexuality is not genetic. The factual information about homosexuality being a mental disorder that can be recovered from has been buried. As the past president of the American Psychological Association admits, the sweeping allegation that homosexual orientation can't be changed is damaging. When I was chief psychologist for Kaiser Permanente, I personally saw more than 2,000 patients with same-sex attraction, and my staff saw thousands more. Of the patients I oversaw who sought to change their homosexual orientation to heterosexuality, hundreds were successful. Since then, the role of psychotherapy in sexual orientation change efforts has been politicized. Homosexual rights activists appear to be convincing the public that homosexuality is one identical inherited characteristic. To my dismay, some in the organized mental health community seem to agree, including the American Psychological Association. But contending that same-sex attraction is immutable is a distortion of reality.
Dr. Cummings, you've treated men with homosexual issues. Have you experienced helping certain patients overcome their homosexuality?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have seen success, and this is why the stance that you can never change. It's absurd. All you have to do is find one exception, and it knocks down the never. But yes, I've experienced more than one exception.
Now, as the therapist, what did you do to facilitate the man to overcome his homosexuality? How did you try to help him?
I would start where the patient is, and then I would go back into the various aspects that impinged upon their becoming gay.
Childhood experiences?
Childhood experiences. We had failures. The recidivism along the way with some would be intense. But we experienced the same thing in treating substance abuse and alcoholism. Falling off the wagon is part of the treatment. So we would persist as long as the patient wanted to proceed. And there are successes.
As a former lesbian who is now a therapist, helping homosexuals heal from homosexuality explains, the treatment for healing homosexuality strongly resembles the treatment required with a person struggling with substance addiction, because homosexuality is a sex addiction.
The latest thing about whether or not reparative therapy works, the committee that considered this would not allow anyone on the committee, as we well know, that does reparative therapy. And this kind of bias prevails in the APA, all under the scientific aura. The APA has become politically correct. Political correctness rules, not science. Sorry to say. About 200 to 250 people were running the APA, and they were a very select, inbred group. They were ultra-liberal, and anything that wasn't ultra-liberal was anathema. So that things like questioning some of the statements about gay and lesbian rights was not being accepted. But I also respect the right to disagree, and that's not allowed. You only hear one side of the issue. So the APA right now is a very troubled organization. What we need to do is have an open dialogue, no holds barred, and see where the research takes us. Right now, certain research does not get funded. The funding agencies cherry pick what they fund.
The mental health field has been completely taken over by mentally ill people. If anyone watching this has an interest in psychology, please consider going into the mental health field to try to reverse this madness. Well, that is all for this video. If you found this video informative, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video on social media and with your friends and family. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you all in the next video. Bye for now.